Cause he wanna life. Yeah, life's I've been with me and back to the city. I've been going through some things, trying to get my mind right. Push the bucket to the limit, push that mission to the finish. Gotta get the full control, gotta get my mind right. Yeah, life's I've been with midnight through the city. I've been going through some things, trying to get my mind right. Push the bucket to the limit, push that mission to the finish. Gotta get the full control, gotta get my mind right. Yeah, flashing on these high beams, you won't stay beside me, even if I'm blinded.
Everybody, can you guys hear me loud and clear? Are we good to go with the sound? Is everything good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can hear.
All right,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Look, so every week I'm like, man, I miss my quarterback. But you want to know the best part about that intro video? Trayvon Diggs getting that pick six, man. And, you know, it's the anniversary of last year's game when we kind of whooped up on the Eagles. It's Eagles week, man. Who's excited?
Yes.
Excited.
Of course, bro. Definitely.
Absolutely. This is the probably the most impactful matchup we've had since 2019, which is something that I'm looking forward to. So
I'm ready to shut them mother humpers up, man. I have heard
Talk to him, Mark.
crap from them.
oh
my
yeah, same
God.
here.
For forever seems. First it was the Giants and Washington and all that. Those guys have gone silent, and I'm hoping that come Sunday we end up showing the Eagles that they're not as good as they think they are.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So, yeah. So, if everybody doesn't know who everybody is, we got Brandon from Frankly Football. We got Space Cowboy Media. And we got none other than the legend, the Godfather, Mark Holmes from the Jobu Sports Report. He always does that, man. Yeah. He always does that. Yeah, man. So, we're going to start today by, I did not do a recap show, but before we get into the Philadelphia Eagles, we're going to talk about the Rams game. All right, so we're going to give our pros and cons of the Rams game, and I'll start with Brandon. What are your pros from what happened in that game?
I'm a 90s baby. I was born in 91. Many people would talk about this 92 defense. Mark, you may be a guy that would talk about the Doomsday defense in 92. I was not conscious enough.
The original one.
Absolutely. I was not conscious enough to witness a defense as oppressive as this during my days as a Cowboys fan. Mm-hmm. This defense is something else, man. We of course we may talk about ones from other teams, but Jesus Christ, man, this is a defense that is something special from every level, from the front to the linebacker core to the secondary. They are attacking at each level like a well-oiled machine and working together like a symphony. And it's a beautiful thing to witness. So this defense is wonderful. I think that the coaching staff, they're adjusting their scheme each week. They're learning from their mistakes. And I like to see that. I think that, the offense is definitely improving. And that's something that I like to see as well. I love to see a coaching staff that learns. But I cannot speak enough. I cannot hawk enough praises on this defense. I'll save enough for the other guys, though.
Yeah, as I'm talking to you guys, my sister just walked in here, dropped the kids off. She's an Eagles fan, so, that must have been an omen. She must have heard me talking about them.
Man.
But, Space, man, what were your pros from the game?
I would say that your running attack did its job as it should. I think that for me, I kind of see what the dynamic is supposed to be here. Zeke is going to be your ground and pound stop. Like, a good way of looking at it would be like what I would envision Felix Jones and Marion Barber of, like, when I was younger. That's kind of what I'm kind of seeing now. Like, and that's no, like, I understand that Zeke, they're kind of managing his carries. So, like, for those that are, like, saying, well, look at his numbers, it's like it's hard because they're purposely not giving him the ball. But he had, like, 3 chances to break away a big run. And the main thing is that he kept churning out those dirty yards that I like to call it, because you're churning clock, the ball consistently, and most importantly, you're taking the time for your defense to rest, which I think is going to be the winning formula for the team moving forward when you reinsert a Dak Prescott, or if you keep Cooper Rush in at quarterback until he's ready to go. Another thing that was a big positive for me was that I saw a little bit better play from the linebackers too. Anthony Barr had a really good game that I saw last time, and I mean, I mean, I'm gonna just be honest with you. We should have pitched a shutout that game. We dominated the game straight up, and that's no homerism. Really, if it wasn't for the two big plays, it's 22-0. So I think that you have a lot of good there. But yeah, I'll stop there.
Well, for me, I'm going to say 38-163, which is the opposite of what happened to us against the 49ers. For us against the 49ers in the playoffs, we rushed for 77 yards and gave up 163. You can't win giving up the run and not stopping the run. And to see them doing what they did was incredible. And so everybody keeps going through, and Space, you touched on it there about Zeke Elliott, getting the dirty yards, as you put it. I almost look at it as you are basically doing the body blows with Zeke Elliott. He's in there pounding the rock and stuff. And you're getting now the defensive front that's kind of playing in that space where they're only 2-3 yards and they're getting offensive line leaned on it. Then you start hitting him with the speed. Now, after I've been pounded on, now I've got to sprint and try and catch this fast guy. And see, if you look at, because I am old, I hate to talk about the Washington Commanders, but back in the day, they had John Riggins, who was that bruising back. And then they had Joe Washington, who was the speed third down back. And between the two of them, they're getting tons and tons of yards. And if you put the two of them together, if you think about back in the day with Emmitt Smith, when the Cowboys rushed for 100 yards with Emmitt Smith, it was almost like butter. We almost always won. When we didn't get that 100 yards with Emmitt Smith, we lost more times than not. The other thing is DMV taught me something years ago, and his thing was when you control the middle of the field, you control the field. And that is, of course, my thing has always been the defensive line. You can have great edge rushers, but if you're soft in the middle, that quarterback's going to step up. He's going to get a clear view of the field, or he's going to take off and burn you. That is where the quarterbacks are not escaping. They don't have that clear view of the field.
Yeah.
They're having actually lane rush integrity, so there's no place for them to get in. And it's just like in Star Wars, it's the trash compactor coming against you, and there's no place to go.
Yeah, not to mention the thing about the middle of the field too is that the safeties control the middle of the field as well, and we're not giving up as many seam routes, as many slants, crossing routes, and things like that. We've done a great job communicating on the back end as well. So I think that that'll be one of my pros, honestly, is the fact that the back end seems like they're in sync. Even with Trayvon Diggs giving up that one big play, it still seems like everybody was in the position they were supposed to. And if that ball is maybe an inch off, he might be going to the house. It was that good of a throw. It was that good of a throw, that good of a catch. Go ahead, Space.
The two. So like this is a thing that I've been seeing some Eagles fans, especially a certain one prominent YouTuber, wanting to point out the two plays. If you going back to the Cooper Kupp touchdown, if Matt Stafford throws that ball a little bit behind him, it was like it had to be a perfect ball. If not, that's going to the house. The other one was perfect coverage. I mean, it's covered like. Anybody that knows basic coverages will know that Trayvon did a really good job there. It's just,
yes,
I mean, he was right. Like literally, he was like in like not even fingertips reach of batting that thing down. So I kind of find it hilarious that people look at that and be like, "Oh, well, he's terrible." No, it was literally it took two perfect plays for them to get just 10 points.
And the thing about that first touchdown, it was the definition of a perfect pass. Trayvon got a forearm on that ball, and it still managed to go into the breadbasket. Without the help of his chin strap, it would have been bobbled out. So some things you just got to chalk up to the perfect pass. So if you cannot discount coverage there. Diggs put valiant effort into coverage there. But just like you said, DMV, the secondary, the safeties have been working excellently in tandem with these corners. They've been coming down, and these guys trust each other, and you can definitely see it.
Yeah. So we'll start with some cons. I'll actually start with some of my cons, and then I'll go around the table. I think that one of my cons was the play calling. As always, I probably took somebody's, but at a certain time, it just seemed like Kellen was just calling plays. It didn't seem like he was setting up anything for any rhyme or reason. One
Mm-hmm.
play we go empty, one play we go in a whole different formation. It just seems like he was just calling plays for formations for no odd rhyme or reason. He wasn't setting anything up, and the offense kind of struggled at times. Sometimes he went empty for no odd reason. When we knew that we just needed to run the ball. I think at one point Mike McCarthy probably said, "All right, man, let's run the damn ball." And he's like, "Okay, you want to run the ball?" We ran the ball about 5 straight times, and we ran it right down the Rams' throat. So, really, I would just say my major con was the play calling, and I would say we had a couple drop balls in that game that I think changed the game. One by Gallup, and one by CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, where the defender kind of ripped it out, but I think that if you're going to be a number one receiver and say you're a number one receiver, those are the simple plays you got to make. That comeback route on the sideline. Those two plays, I think, probably take Cooper Rush's 106 yards to maybe 150 yards. It might not look as bad, but maybe we're looking at 30-10 opposed to, the 22. So I'll leave it to Mark. What are your cons?
Well, you got me on the play calling because when we were sitting there and we're looking at an empty backfield, and it's like, okay, for me, it's kind of like that. I'm the 12 personnel guy. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
It's personal to me with 12 personnel because you can do so many things. I know that's not you young guys, that the 12 personnel and stuff. That's old school football. But from 12 personnel, you can run, you can pass, you can do anything. If you've got empty backfield, I love that as a defensive lineman because that means I can pin my ears back. I'm coming for your ass. I don't have to worry about a run play. And with this offense, I'm kind of like, you want to make sure that we have put a doubt in people's minds. I'm still kind of worried about our left guard situation. Connor McGovern has been, or actually the whole left guard position has been grading the worst on the offensive line. Jason Peters, I had hoped that he was going to be able to kind of step in and stuff, but now he's got the chest injury and things. But that is the Achilles heel of the offensive line. It's hard to find a lot of things in this game to say, I didn't like this, or I didn't like that. The defense is playing stellar right now. Dan Quinn, you can see why he came back because he knew he was going to have a loaded defense. And by being here with this defense, he can write his ticket to any place that he wants to go.
Okay, Space.
Now, if you know me in Cowboy Land, I like to be labeled as Mr. Pessimist, but I'm just
That's
being
you.
Yep. But I try to be as analytical as possible because you know what? There are things that we got to fix so that we have a perfect outing. And a couple of things. The offensive play calling, just to skim over that, I felt like the ebb and flow of the game, it wasn't really until the end of the game where I felt like, okay, you're doing the right thing here. It just felt all over the place. Drops are another big thing. You really could have blew the door open on this game early. The Gallup drop. Now, someone told me about apparently the Rams defensive coordinator was wearing white, so it kind of affected. I don't know the validity of that, but point being is that you had a touchdown there and he dropped it, which isn't good. CD still dropped that pass. I mean, okay. But aside from that, a couple other things were the punts. I've been noticing that Anger has now had 2 whiffs in the past 2 games. Now, again, it's just 2 whiffs, but I don't want to start seeing a trend here. I really don't, because he was one of the reasons why you won a lot of games last year because of field position. That's super important, especially with this defense you got going on here. Now, the long snapper had the big goof at the beginning of the game, but he was fine. But that's something I'm keeping an eye out on because the last thing I want to deal with is having a long snapper issue moving forward. Maybe LP can come out of retirement and come back.
Facts.
I'm just trying to think. Defensively, I don't think. Well, a couple of times here and there, but it wasn't like I'm killing them for it. It's just sometimes they were being held the entire time, so I'm not going to bitch and complain. I'm just going to be real with you. They missed so many holding calls, and the Cowboys really could have had 10 sacks in this game. So, I mean, that's pretty much all my cons there, but there are things that you can correct. So,
all right, and Brandon, your cons?
I I have to raise a question. Does it seem like they're forcing Dalton Schultz on Cooper Rush? Dak Prescott has the relationship with Dalton Schultz. We cannot deny that. But we don't know how Cooper Rush's relationship is with Dalton Schultz as opposed to Peyton Hendershot or Jake Ferguson. Dalton Schultz also has the PCL, I believe.
He re-aggravated it again.
Thank you. And having him in may be to the team's detriment in an already struggling offense, which is tied for 31st in getting to the red zone. We're tied with Pittsburgh, who has a struggling mightily Kenny Pickett. Only Houston is worse than both of us. Now, that is where I think things are starting to look a little shaky in the light, you know? Maybe Dalton and Dak need to come back around the same time, because those are the guys who come skipping down the yellow brick road with their hands held, you know? Otherwise, we have a Zeke in 2021 situation where he's forced down the Phantom's throat to the team's detriment. Also, yes, I do think we did have a bit of a play calling debacle that to a certain extent got fixed. You know, Mike McCarthy took Kellen and set him on his knee and burped him and told him, "Hey, youngster, run the ball." At which point, you know, we saw that Zeke got his 22 touches and Tony got, I believe, it's 8 or 9. You know, in which we got that blend of thunder and lightning that we just love so much. It's like an excellently blended sauce, you know, that just comes together so well. But offensively, I think that there are things that's left to be desired. Play-wise, that at the moment can't be solved until we get some help back on the field in the form of the guy that wears number 4.
Yep.
But I thought you brought up a very good point about Schultz. And I had a theory that I thought Noah Brown was playing a little bit of split wide for us. And that's why he was able to, you know, attack the certain areas of the field that Schultz would have been attacking, the areas that, you know, Witten would have been in the system and all of that type of stuff. There was no Noah Brown in this game. There was none, and it kind of answered what I thought, which is Schultz was back, and we didn't see any Noah Brown.
Yeah, and I want to add to this. I think a big thing, and I said this in the offseason last year, was that when teams were playing us a certain way, the way that Schultz accrued a lot of his yardage, if you actually go back and look at the film, was because teams were daring us to throw to him. And so, if you know me, I'm not a fan of paying my tight ends unless they're like that elite, high caliber type of guy.
Yeah.
And I think that, and you could tell, listen, we know in Dallas that money gets on the field, right? That's why you're having a situation like we had last year with Zeke. That's why you're having the situation. Well, not necessarily, but, you know, you got the quarterback, this, that, and the third. I know that's not congruent, but point being is like money gets on the field. But I think the Joneses really don't want to pay Dalton. And I love the 2 tight ends that we have here. And I think that is going to be the coup de grace when it comes to this, because for me, what I'm worried about is how, and we'll talk about this later when we get to Philly, but I want to stress this point now. I'm worried that when you reinsert a Dak Prescott into this offense, you're going to throw this thing out of whack because Kellen likes to get arrogant sometimes. He said he loves to pass the ball, you know, and the thing that's going to, and that's why I'm kind of holding off, even though we're 4-1, I'm happy about that. And even if we're 5-1 and Dak doesn't play this game, if we go back to this, whatever the hell we were trying to do at the beginning of the season, I'm going to be very upset because I'm like, guys, I don't want to see anything else that's not working. Like, I'm okay with him passing the ball if it works. You know, I'm Mr. Pass it on first down, but like, guys, like, we got to like stick to what's working. So like, please, Kellen, don't mess it up there.
Well, what kind of gives me hope about that space is that when Dak did an interview, he spoke more about fitting into the well-oiled machine,
right?
rather than coming in and taking over the offense. And that gave me more hope.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Mark, we talked about this earlier, and I want you to, kind of reiterate what we talked about with Tony Romo and when we were forced.
Oh yeah.
When we were.
Well, this is my hope because when you go to the Tampa Bay game, you felt like Kellen Moore was scared and that we were outmatched and we had to go ahead and do the trick plays. When you do trick plays, it's because you don't think that you can beat them straight up. You understand? You know what I mean? If you're going to fight somebody, you can kick their ass, you're going to go ahead and just hit them. No, boom. I'm not going to go ahead and try and sucker punch you or something like that because I know I can kick your ass right ahead. And so to me, it was like that game, he was scared. And that's why you're sitting there, doing these double reverses and bullshit ass plays that are losing yards. So we looked at 2013. 2013, Tony Romo threw for a team record 4,903 yards. 28 TDs and 19 interceptions. Why? Because our defense was terrible. We had a 31st or 32nd rated defense. The defense got a little bit better, but if you'll remember the season opener in 2014 against the San Francisco 49ers, he threw 3 interceptions, and it didn't look like he could throw 25 yards down the field. And because of that, they kind of said, we got to let Tony get healthy. We got to run the football. And we started running to Marco Murray, and all of a sudden we realized, this is protecting our defense because it's keeping him off the field, and it's also making it better for Tony Romo. That year, Tony Romo only throws for 3,800 yards, but throws for 3 more touchdowns and only 9 interceptions. Statistically, it was the best year that he had. And had it not been for that injury, they probably would have been doing things the same way where we're just going to be chucking it up. And when you think about last year, when Michael Gallup came back, from the injury, the first half of the season when we really didn't have Michael Gallup, that was the golden time of the offense. We had CD, we had Amari Cooper. And it felt like once we got Michael Gallup back, it's like, we got 3 great receivers, so we got to use them. We stopped using really 12 personnel. We stopped running the ball as much, and we kept chucking the football. And that ended up seemingly being part of the problem for the team. And this is, again, like you just brought up, with Dak coming back, now you start thinking, well, we're paying the guy $40 million, so he's got to have 300-yard games. We don't want to have, 200-yard games and 1 TDs because we got to justify the cost of that. But winning football, sometimes it's not great for fantasy football. It's not beautiful.
Glad
it's
you said
in
that.
the game, You look at teams like the Baltimore Ravens, ugly-ass football, but you know what? They were winning Super Bowls. And this team is more like the Seattle Seahawks when they won their Super Bowl. Russell Wilson, 23 touchdown passes. Beast mode, 1,390 yards, right? The number 1 defense. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And that's what Kellen Moore has to get in his head, that you play the game of field position. You got a defense that you can rely on. Your special teams, for the most part, are doing their job. You don't have to try and be lights out every single drive.
Right. And sorry, I just wanted to add to that point real quick because that's an important thing, because in that stretch of time, going back to with Romo, was that you had a guy in Jason Garrett that really was like, we want to kind of go through with the pass, and we weren't really thinking about running the football. I mean, I think it was 20. So I think 2012, like Romo threw like 19 interceptions. That's when he had I think that's when he had the near 5,000 passing yards. 2013, it was 2013. So like 2012 was one year where it was like, okay, he's trying to carry the team. 2013, it was one of those situations where it's like you kind of start seeing the team try to do that, but it's still like, and I saw an article on this, and this is why I'm so adamant about don't go back to what we were doing before, because literally we have shown we can win games without having to rely on the arm of the quarterback, and it's winning you games. I do not care what the stats say. I just care about, can we win games? So I think it's that's a really good point you brought up, Mark. So I think that I wanted to just reverberate that.
Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Mark giving his beautiful soliloquy. We have my guy, Mr. Rome, in the building. What's going on, Rome? How you doing,
Rome?
man?
How you doing, bro?
I'm good. What's good with y'all?
Rome?
Yeah, man, we were just talking about the pros and cons of the Rams game, but you came in at the right time, bro, because now we get to talk about these sorry ass Eagles. These sorry ass Eagles, man. You've been fighting them all day, man. How's it been? How's it been fighting that battle? Anybody really been coming back at you? Because it look like you just been whooping ass all day.
Well, I don't see that's the beauty of what I do. I don't really look for interaction. I just say what I say and move on with my day. So I get a lot of people coming back at me, but I don't really pay no mind. I don't know if you noticed. I don't respond unless I feel like it. Yeah, so I'll say something. And like 35 people will say something to me and tell me I'm stupid, and I'll be washing my daughter up or helping with homework. I don't be caring. Like they don't move my day. It's not that serious. They're not that important. I know they get mad when I come out and say, I respect their running back one, and and they know what I'm talking about, so they get in their feelings. I don't even got to say the dude name. I asked earlier. I said, I wonder if he's gonna get the 20 touchdowns this year. Everybody got in their feelings. It ain't my fault. I'm just asking questions. Is he gonna get the 20? I'm just wondering. And they getting all mad at me, and I'm just, because I'm looking at Cooper Rush with 4 touchdowns. I'm looking at the other guy with 4 touchdowns, and I'm just like, look, I thought we was running into a juggernaut on Sunday. And everybody want to tell me that, we didn't need to score, and we took our foot off the gas and all this extra stuff, and y'all fraudulent because y'all beat the 2 Super Bowl participants, but we beat the Commanders and the Vikings, and I'm just wondering. I was like, when did Kirk Cousins
and the Lions and the Jaguars?
Remember, this one actually told me, "What do you mean we didn't play anybody? We beat the Jags, and they were leading their division." The fuck are you talking about?
Wait. Remember, they didn't play no ordinary Vikings. They played the primetime Vikings.
Prime Kirk Cousins, bro.
The primetime Vikings.
Bro. When is the murderous row of Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, Carson Wentz, Trevor Lawrence, and I'll give Conglomerate credit. But when did they become murderous row? But we're supposed to look at Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford, and Joe Burrow. It's like they don't exist. The same Joe Burrow that walks on water and cleats, from what I've been hearing for the last year, until we beat him, and now all of a sudden he's not that important.
Not only that, but look at some of the receivers we faced. Barkley is having a great year right now, and I believe they're 4-0. And we're talking about Jamar Chase. We're talking about Mike Evans. Chris Godwin was there. Julio Jones. We broke him up, but it's not like we've been dealing with nobodies. Even Scary Terry.
I'm preferring them to I'm egging them on, and I want them to come in with that false bravado.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to come into the game feeling like, oh, the Cowboys ain't really playing nobody. This is a walk in the park.
Oh, like last year when we whooped that ass and we
love it. So I know, because what they thinking is this. They're saying, listen, in their mind, they're like, Cowboys can't keep up with our passing game. Oh, how the tables have turned.
Oh, how the turntables.
Usually it's they're going to be punching us in the mouth because they got the defense and we're going to outpass them. And usually that's our angle. But it's fun being on this side. I'm glad that they're rolling into the game thinking that they're going to throw up their first 35-point game this year, 40-point game. Oh, no, they had one week one. They can't do it again. But I'm glad that they're going to be coming in with that bravado. That's fine, because that is what, when they wake up in the middle of the third quarter with a fight on their hands, we're not going to be confused, because we've been going 12 rounds all year. That's our style of football. Mm-hmm. It's just they're rolling into this game the same way, I hate to say it, we rolled into San Fran.
I was just, yep.
Mm-hmm. And we rolled into San Fran, and we was like, I ain't worried about no run game and no defense.
Now,
we woke up in the third quarter like, oh, that's what that do. So
you're saying that we can't handle their passing attack. You're talking about the same passing attack that is led by Jalen Hurts, the same guy that has the same amount of passing touchdowns as Cooper Rush?
Yeah.
Oh. I wanted to clear up any confusion. Oh, okay.
I don't even think that they have bad. It's not that I think their players are overrated or fake.
No.
It's that our players are battle tested at this point. Like, look, AJ Brown's a great receiver, and so is Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, when I roll out there against Mike Evans, Jamar Chase, Higgins, like when I Cooper Cup. Cooper Kupp, when I face these receivers, I'm sorry that I'm not like, oh, what we gonna do when I see AJ? I'm sorry. I've seen it already. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I think the big thing, and this is kind of to go in with everybody's points all together, this Eagles team has not had adversity. And I'm saying that as an NFL fan. I want to make that emphatically clear. Yes, Philadelphia does have a good squad on their hands. I'm not going to front there. However, this is an interesting stat that you guys should be aware, or really two things, okay? So thanks to Professor O, Matt Owen on Twitter, the Eagles scoring per quarter is one of the most extreme ranges you'll ever find, okay? The first quarter, 2.8 points, 21st in the league. The second quarter, they lead the league with 18.4 points. The third quarter, 3.4 points, 19th. And in the fourth quarter when it matters, and I'm going to get to this next one in just a second, 2.4 points, 29th in the league. Now, people will be like, oh, Space Cowboy, you know, we're beating the shit out of these teams, so we don't need to try. Well, here's the problem. The problem is, and I've seen this with our team, is that when you get punched in the mouth and you don't know how to respond after you start getting that first set of blood, that's where you kind of get thrown into a loop, because when you look at the Cowboys, they've already been battle tested aside from the first game. We all know what happened. The Bengals game, okay, you punched first, then you got punched back, you win the game. You pulled that out. The Giants game, that game really felt like whoever scored the first touchdown was going to win the game. The Giants scored the first touchdown, and like you get that feeling like, oh shit. So we go and we score, and not only that, we go on to dominate the rest of the game. The Rams game, I mean, we straight up cooked them and the Commanders, but the point is we had actually with the Rams game, that Cooper Kupp touchdown had that same feeling, but then it was like you go down the field, you score a touchdown, and all is good. And that is something I have not seen from Philadelphia yet. You look at their last game versus Arizona, they scored the 14 points, and then they just score 6 points for the rest of the game, and I'm supposed to be impressed by that. And again, like, that's no fault. I like Jalen Hurts. I think he's a great guy. I do think, though, he still has to show me a little bit more if you want to get – I mean, I could give a shit, let's pay the guy. Like, I'm cool with whatever. But another fun thing, I'm not sure if you guys saw the numbers when – and this is where I think you're going to win the game here, and my fundamental belief, you got to make Jalen Hurts try to beat you as a passer. Shut down the Eagles run game. And I don't mean to, skip ahead or anything like that.
Run game.
But listen, when Jalen Hurts isn't blitzed, he's got – like almost 10 yards per attempt. He's completing 73 of his passes, this, that, and a third, right? When he's blitzed, he is 31st in the league, only completing 5.8 yards per attempt. He has 58% of his passes completed, which is 25th. And he doesn't have any, like, big-time throws in that span, whatever the hell that means. But, like, it's just – what that tells me is that I am begging the Eagles passing attack to try and beat me with – and – if they do, congratulations, but that's where I think the game's going to be won there.
I'm sorry. If listen, I just cannot allow them to. I know the media's on the Eagles. Stay on them. I know everybody wants to give them a lot of credit, and cool. I am not going to allow people to spin this narrative and really think that I'm supposed to be afraid. I'm glad that they got good receivers now. Congrats. I'm glad that Jalen Hurts can pass now a little bit. Congrats. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be more fearful rolling into Philly than I was rolling into Tampa. I'm sorry.
I'm not banging there.
I wasn't scared when we was playing the GOAT. I wasn't scared when we was playing Joe Burrow and the
You're absolutely right. I was not scared. You're right.
So I'm not going to be like, oh, snap. I wonder what kind of offensive they're going to throw a whole bunch of wide receiver screens out there and crossing patterns. And I'm not even an X's and O's guy, and I see it. That's all they got for you. They got wide receiver screens and crossing patterns. He don't even like throwing up the seams. If you want to keep it real, it's not that difficult. It's we're going to spread y'all out. We're going to either throw a wide receiver screen, and then when you allow Jalen Hurts to have a running lane, he's going to take advantage of it. The difference is they ain't seen this type of defensive speed.
No, sir.
Not close.
And here's the crazy thing. Last year, we did a very good job of keeping him in the pocket. The guys on the interior did a very good job of holding up. We're much better on the interior now. Guys like Micah. Micah was tearing their ass up. They couldn't do that RPO stuff that they wanted to do.
I'm going to tell you what's going to mess them up, though. I'm going to tell you what's going to mess them up. The Eagles' run defense is trash. I don't know if y'all have noticed it. I know they got.
It is. It's bad.
I know they got big man with Jordan Davis.
He's good for 2 plays.
And you know, he's a huge guy, and he's probably going to turn into an amazing player. He got a lot to learn because it's not as simple as I'm just bigger than everybody. But look, their defense is susceptible to the run, and that's our strength. Period, point blank. We're going to take the air out the football. We're going to play time of possession. We're going to piss them off. And Jalen Hurts is going to have to do for the first time this year, he's going to have to clutch and press because he's going to start to realize my opportunities are few and far between. They're not going to let me get the ball. That's what we're going to do. Unless we wake up tomorrow and the whole thing flips on his head because we get news that Dak is going to play, we about to play ball control. It is, and we're going to play opportunistic passing game.
We've seen situations where we've going back to what you said, Rome, about forcing Jalen Hurts to beat us with the pass. We've seen situations.
Get out of here, Bobby.
Yeah, come on now. We eating fried eagle wings on Sunday, dude.
I wish smile. I wish they throw. I know he ain't ready, but I wish they throw boss man out there on Devontae Smith so he can have flashbacks and when he got locked down.
Going back to what I was saying, man.
He know how to do that. He'll not do nothing else.
We've seen situations where Jalen Hurts had to try and beat us with his arm. He's Trayvon Diggs flashbacks is what he's going to get flashbacks of.
Now, I will give you this though. He is a better passer this year. He's actually put in the work. He is a better player than he was last year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Here's my thing though. Now I'm looking at this. Everybody's trashing the Rams. When the Cowboys beat you, there's something wrong with you. Now everybody's talking about how bad the Rams are. Matthew Stafford ain't right, and this, that, and the other. Right? Although you look at what the Rams had to face. They've played good teams. I mean, they played Buffalo. They played the 49ers. Of course, us. They've gone through the gauntlet. The teams that they played are 15-10. You look at the Eagles, it's the reverse of that, 10 versus 15, wins versus losses. And I'm sorry, when you hear all the talking heads talking about how the Eagles are blowing people out, how are you telling me that they blew out the Jaguars 29-21 and you got 5 takeaways and you only got 29 points? That's a blowout?
And you were down 14. You were down 14-0.
I understand that it was garbage time for the Lions, but you still gave up 35 to the Lions that couldn't score a point against New England. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kind of like, I get it. You got 5 wins. Congratulations. That's a great thing. That's a tough beat. You play the teams that are in front of you, but you haven't really been tested. The fact that the Arizona Cardinals could have won that game, are we saying the Arizona Cardinals are a great team?
Hey, lucky Kyler Murray missed that damn throw.
That's what I'm saying. So, it wasn't like, you blew them out. You got lucky to be. We went on the road to the defending Super Bowl champion's house. And here it is. NFL.com's got the Cowboys still behind Cincinnati in the rankings.
Yeah, and that's kind of my
thing is this.
I like that. I like the fact that we don't, we got our guys got a chip on the block. Like Dak said, keep talking. But you get into this mentality, and I'm thinking that the Eagles are beginning to start believing the hype. I mean, we 5-1. We blowing people out.
They about to be 5-1. They about to be 5-1.
Okay, 5-0. Okay, was that a 40? Was that you talking, Stu, over there?
Clairvoyant Mark.
Got the 32nd ranked defense.
Yeah.
And y'all supposed to just run through our defense. Y'all couldn't run through the 32nd ranked defense.
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering.
The big thing for me too is that this is a big. Now I'm just looking at this as real as possible, right? This is a big game for both teams. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, Philadelphia knows that this is a big game because they can't afford to have a tiebreaker go up against because the Cowboys already got 2 wins in the division. If Dallas gets 3 wins in the division in their back pocket, we don't have to play these guys until December, until Christmas, which is important because. Think about it. Which from what I understand, until we'll find out tomorrow. But for me, I want Dak to be fully healthy before we get him back in. I just am like keep Cooper rushing until I know for a fact that Dak will be A-okay, and I'm not gonna have to throw him out there because we did the same mistake back in 2019 where we played a hurt Dak with the shoulder thing. I think it was like the AC joint, but that's besides the point. But you have a team that's a 5.5-point favorite at home. Congratulations, that's cool. So you're expected to win this game. On top of that, we have a backup quarterback, a bunch of hurt guys, whatever. Okay, so you're expected to be as cool. You got a nice first punch. Okay, cool. So we're expecting to see that. So here's my thing, right? Going into this game, I'm expecting Philadelphia to try and do something early. And so my question would be next is, okay, so then what's going to happen after that? Because for me, I see Philly give a first good punch, and then it's just like, eh. But like for Dallas, they have done a great job at starting off these games. We'll see if that continues in Philadelphia, which, by the way, historically, Dallas has done well in Philadelphia over the past decade. So that's another important thing to keep in mind. But look, man, like, you know, even if, right, I want you to think about this. Even if Philadelphia goes out and wins on Sunday, guess what? We're still in October. Super Bowls are not won in October, people, regardless if that's for us or for Philadelphia. So for me, and I'm not trying to say this to just downplay this game because, listen, I want to kick their ass as much as the Eagles want to kick our ass. No worries. But for me, it's about setting the tone and having that statement win because I've seen this same script before. 2014, we were 4-1. People were doubting us as a legit team until we went into Seattle and took care of business. 2016, okay, people, we're 4-1. They think we're pretended, blah, blah, blah. We go into Green Bay and we beat them. It's the same thing again. Now it's a matter of us being a defensive team now, which I think. But I really do believe that if you win this game as Dallas, I think that for me, getting to 5-3 by the bye week was awesome. I mean, with Dak out, I thought we were going to go like 1-7, but the fact of the matter is that Dallas, this is their hardest part of their schedule, guys. And I think that when you look at how the schedule opens up later down the line, it can really bode well for seeding, which if they win this game on Sunday, that's a really good position to be in. And even if Philly wins this game, you're 4-2 when people didn't expect you to be. And you're still in what's the word I'm looking for? You're still in line to get to the playoffs. And I think that what matters is we play fundamentally sound football, regardless of the result. Because, again, we're not expected to win. But, hey, you know what? We're playing with house money, so I don't care.
Can I add a point?
Sure.
You know what it would be? Look, Philly has a great home field. They have fans that are rabid. They feel good about their team and all of that. But you would be nervous if you were rolling into that house with rookies or people that have not been to Philly. Mm-hmm. This is a team that has a lot of veterans that have played in Philly in big games. This ain't nothing but a routine. We've done this before. We've had Philly filling themselves. We've been up there. Our coaching staff has been up there. This isn't a thing where we're like, we don't know quite how this is going to go because we're not used to this type of a rabid fan base. We just rolled into the Rams' house and dropped them off. You know what I'm saying? We about to roll into Philly. They going to be, I know, on their Philly stuff, throwing stuff at the bus and all the stuff that comes with it. But we've seen this before. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where you remember that – I hate to downplay our own team, but you remember the Hot Boys era?
Oh, please. Don't ever say Hot Boys again.
Don't say that to Mark, bro.
Don't, man. You're going to piss me off, man.
I'm just saying.
Hot Boys. Man, screw that shit.
Giving yourself your own nickname and you ain't really done nothing yet. There's a quiet confidence about this team because if you heard Micah after that game, he's like, we're going to work hard. Like, that's the main thing they keep talking about. Whenever you talk to a lot of the young players on this team, it's about the grind. You know, and I feel like the leadership that's in place, because we already know Dak's a great leader. But Micah's really coming there, and it's 1A, 1B. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Micah has his team focused. He has that defense focus. And I feel like our coaching staff is very, very vastly underrated. I know y'all don't like Money Mike. That's what I've been calling him.
Oh, I love Mike. Mike's my guy.
Mike's real. Can I answer one comment in here? Sure. Bobby Murphy said, dude, Rams lost Odell Beckham, Robert Woods, and Von Miller. They're not the same team as last year. I'm going to counter that with we've lost our quarterback, our starting left tackle. We lost Amari Cooper, right? We lost Randy Gregory. We ended up losing Lyle Collins as well as Connor Williams. You know, so don't come at me and say, well, they lost all this. We lost our starting quarterback. Bobby.
Not to mention, wait a minute. They brought in Allen Robinson. They brought in Bobby Wagner. They brought in people. We lost people that just figured it out with nobody.
Right.
Right.
We were bargain basement shopping at Walmart. Okay.
Hey, look.
Here's what you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen if we go through and we go to Philadelphia and beat them. You know what they're going to say? Well, the Eagles, they
Oh,
hadn't
I was going
actually
to
played
ask you
anybody.
that.
They're going to
Yeah.
be over. They were overrated. We
no.
know Jalen Hurts wasn't
No, I
that
was going
good.
to ask y'all what excuses they were going to come
Oh,
up with.
listen. Listen. You know damn well. It was just that it was an off night, and I just think we were due for a loss. Oh, well, the Cowboys, they're really good. Get the fuck out of here. You know what's gonna happen. Like, listen, they're gonna be on their bullshit.
Yeah, we needed this loss to get focused.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we didn't want to get complacent.
We've seen the Eagles. Look, I've lived this movie they're living right now, right? We know that half of their fan base on the low, they don't want to talk about it, don't even like their quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be the person that liked that fuse, because after we beat them on Sunday, they're going to wake up on Monday with people saying, I knew Jalen Hurts wasn't quite the quarterback. And we're going to be the reason that it started.
Well, of course, it depends on how we win. But if it's the same stuff we've been doing, and that is an exact thing that happened. Yo, I listen, all I'm asking, listen, and I'm not sure if anyone else is going to say this, but I'm just asking for the same energy. I don't want to hear all the bullshit I've been hearing from people.
It's been for 14 weeks straight.
Listen,
like
fam.
14 weeks straight.
Listen, I don't give a damn about the Eagles until we play them. Because listen,
Exactly.
if you know me, I'm 24. I could give a damn less about what the hell we've done of recent because other than that Super Bowl, honestly, it's a regular. Okay, here we go. We're gonna go to the link and beat you. But that's just what I've been seeing over the past decade. But I don't want to hear this shit about. Like if you guys win, awesome, congratulations. But if we beat you, I don't want to hear shit about like, oh well, it's just no, because I've been hearing all this shit about how Diggs is trash, this, that, and a third. Get the fuck out of here. I'm done with the shit. Seriously.
That big play Slay is better than Diggs. Zeke Elliott is washed out. The only player you have is Dak Prescott. We've got the best offensive line in football. Jalen Hurts is, one of the premier quarterbacks. Our defensive front, you can't run on. These are all things I've been hearing for the last.
About 50.
Now here's the thing I have as the motto for this year. It's cockroaches. Because what happens is they come in when everything's good. They're talking. It's like the cockroaches when you turn off the lights. They're out, all over the place. You turn on the lights and scatter. And see, I had giant cockroaches and I had Washington cockroaches all off season. I haven't seen those cockroaches in a while. I still got a lot of those giant ones. Eagle ones, but guaranteed they won't show up after they lose.
Now,
You're right.
Did I just say after they lose again?
I'm glad you brought up the word motto, Mark, because I feel like the Eagles always need a motto or mantra every single season. If you remember back when they had Vince Young, it was the Dream Team.
The All-Star team this year.
Yeah. In 2017 or 2018, it was the Dogs or the Underdogs. They had the hats or like the little helmets, whatever it was.
The dog.
Yeah. And this year is the Batman.
Where the hell did that come from?
It's all over Twitter.
What the fuck am I hearing this Batman shit about?
Billy started out his live stream with a Batman.
No. Listen, I'm not even joking around. I'm being dead ass. I listen. This is the first time I've been here. I'm like I had
players did a video on it. They each of them is a different variation of Batman.
What the fuck kind of shit is this?
Hey, and I feel like they need that gimmick to keep them afloat. And I'm gonna compare this to the Hot Boys thing that the Cowboys had a few years ago,
or actually Jason Garrett mottos. Recommit,
absolutely.
Or finish the fight and all that.
See how
y'all heard
that
Zeke's
was to
motto
the
this
success of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all heard Zeke's motto this year?
Pay attention. keep it all in the house.
See what Zeke said earlier?
He said F him. That one?
Fuck him.
That's our motto this year. That's our motto.
Absolutely, man. So that is why I don't pay much attention to them, because they are a gimmicky team. They're a gag character. If any of you watch anime, they're a gag character.
They are, and
I appreciate Rome, sticking so much to the Bane thing that is going on, because we're going to play their game at least for this week. You know,
Oh,
and break the back.
look, if I'm gonna do anything, I know how to get under somebody's skin. Trust me.
Thank you, sir, for
Trust
that.
me. He's an easy talent. Trust me. I'm just getting started. We got a couple days left.
Yo,
I
I
get it.
Go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
I was say, I get it. You know, Batman's cool, right? I mean, I don't know. Like, he's probably the best of the DC comic. But when I think about it, though, Batman, there isn't a superhero that gets his ass whipped more than Batman.
Batman won't from Philly.
Why would they pick Batman? Batman always lose, and then he come up with some gadgets or some shit.
The part that kind of made me laugh was I go on Twitter and I see Rome with the Bane stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
I saw that too.
And I was confused. I was like, what the hell? So then I swear to God, if I watch the Sunday night broadcast and I start seeing fans wearing Batman shit, listen, man, I will tell you, I understand that I have not seen the glory of the Cowboys. I understand that I have been alive to see an Eagles Super Bowl win, but not a Cowboys one. But I will tell you this: when I see the Cowboy stuff, I don't see gimmicky shit like that. And honestly, like, I think it's cringy as hell.
Not anymore. We used to do that. Finish the fights.
We'll finish the fight. Like that was a Jason Garrett bullshit. But like, it's just. But no, on some real stuff. Look, I get it. You're trying to find a way to get motivated. I'm just waiting for the tweet where it says it's Dallas week or something like that, because I'm like, Cowboys.
They already had a fan that hung the "We Want Dallas" flag. Do we have to remind them what happened to the last team that said that?
They said it. Look,
they said it, and Washington said it, and we both did.
We remind you.
But I just can't wait. Listen, all I know is I am glad that we have a Sunday night football game where it actually means something this go around. I'm happy for that, man. Like, listen, I just hated going into a primetime game with Philadelphia, and it's either, okay, well, we're going to beat them, or they beat us, but like, or we beat them and we already know what's going on. Like, we're beating their third string. I don't really care about that. But look, at the end of the day, I'm really excited about the matchup. I don't really care what the outcome is, because guess what? Rome's mentioned it. I mentioned it. We're playing with the house money. I'm not expecting. Listen, I've been on a roll saying we're not going to win, and we've always won, so that's great. So I am under the firm belief. Look, congratulations, you guys are going to go out and win the game. Awesome, congratulations, you guys are going to be 6-0, and cool. We've been there, done that. I've seen this. I've seen my team go out there. They went 13-3. I don't really care anymore. All I care about is seeing results. I don't care what we do to win this. I don't give a shit if it's a 35-0 shutout. I just want to see this team consistently perform well, do the right things, regardless of what. If we lose and we did the right things, I'm not going to complain. Is this me just doing some? No, I'm just being real. I think that is what I'm looking for here.
Well,
just being real.
I'll tell you this. I want to add on to that. These fuckers better not lose to damn Cooper Rush.
Carson.
Carson Wentz. They better not lose to Cooper Rush. They better not lose to Cooper Rush.
Absolutely.
If they lose to Cooper Rush after 14 weeks of talking shit, I'm going to give them the biggest laugh of my life. Yeah. If you lose, they almost lost to Ben DiNucci in their house. If you lose to Cooper Rush, I don't want to hear nothing.
Listen,
we got the best receiving core. We got the best line. I don't want to hear nothing. Nada.
I'm going to be so goddamn unbearable if we win on Sunday.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
All right.
I don't think it's an if. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, me either.
In the last 2 years, I've seen us play the Super Bowl champion Buccaneers. I've seen us. There's only one team that caught us slipping. Caught us literally slipping, and it was Denver.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know what was going on in Denver when we played Denver, but I haven't seen this team get blown off the field in almost 2 years.
Denver always do us like that, though, bro.
Now, they always do. Like, just be honest with yourself. Even the playoff game, we lost, but we didn't get blown off the field. It ain't like we got lost by 30. I don't know what Philly think rolling in there, but that type of defense don't exist. This ain't 2020. We don't get blown out no more.
Yeah.
We just don't. So I'm letting them know right now. I don't know what they're thinking. Like, they really think that we sweet, and it's funny to me. I'm like, in 2020, I might have been a little nervous because that defense was shaky. Yo, when the offense rolls on the field of the other team, I'll go get something to drink. I'm not worried. That's when I go get some food. When my defense rolling the field, like, oh, all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, them days is over. I don't care who they rolling out there.
Yeah.
We got one of them defenses.
Bro, it sounds funny, but I go get something to drink and go get some food. Like, I be at Mark's house. I go get some food when the offense is on.
We'll get a glizzy.
It's crazy to me that they think that I'm really supposed to be nervous. Like, I've seen, like you said, I've seen Cup, Chase, Evans, like all kinds of these great, amazing. Look, I ain't gonna lie. Washington got some receivers. Yeah, if you want to keep it funky, I've seen. So I don't know. Look, AJ Brown's a little bit bigger than most receivers. Congratulations, but that ain't about to be.
Is he better?
That's my point. Because look, I ain't see. No. Look, where was his 200 yards last week? If he's so unstoppable, he's the unstoppable force.
What is his touchdown for 3 games?
I can't even name the Arizona Cardinals cornerbacks because their defense is ranked 32nd.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
I'm telling you, they're gonna wake up in the middle of the third quarter like, I don't know why they told me all week that this team was trash. They gonna be mad. Yes. Like, why nobody told us they was this good?
Like, and that's a dynamic that I just don't understand. I asked this question honestly, like not only here but to Eagles fans too. Like, why is it that when we go out on a field and we either beat you or we dominate, whatever, it's that, we had all these pieces together that made it work. But when we lose, everything's overrated. It's like the same thing where I kind of get upset with even sometimes the own fans here when they try to put the blame on certain people. You know who I'm referring to. It's like, okay, so you think this person sucks, this person sucks, this person sucks. So everybody sucks, but we're 4-1. So like, what's going on here? Like, what are we doing here? You said I mean? Like what?
They have not played 4 quarters of football yet.
Nope.
You alluded to it. They have not played 4 quarters of football. They played 1 quarter of football. That's it.
I'm telling you, I bet you one thing. I tell y'all one thing. I bet you the Rams knew that it was like, this is our get right game.
Yep.
And in the second quarter, if you looked at their face,
it was like shit.
And then they start running trick plays. They start running trick plays. I knew they was on the ropes. When I saw Cooper Kupp throwing a pass, I said, "Oh, y'all on the ropes. Y'all don't know what to do no more."
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, definitely, man. So I'm actually going to close this out because we can go all night talking about the Eagles, man. I'll probably do another show at some point this week, man. I'll let you guys know about it, but I appreciate you guys for stopping by on a Tuesday. My wife just got – no, that's all good. You came in right on time when we started talking Eagles, bro. You came right in at the right time, man. I appreciate everybody for stopping by, man. Everybody let everybody know where they can find you. For the most part, everybody knows that anyway, but we'll start with Mark.
Jobu Sports Report, Mark Holmes. Tomorrow night, though, I got Philly 500 live stream.
I'm in there. I'm in there.
Yeah, so I've got to find out what time, but I think probably 8 or 9 tomorrow night.
Yeah.
No, that's
y'all know who Mark Holmes is. Y'all crazy. Y'all better know who Mark Holmes is.
Hey, bro, what you got lined up this week? I know you got to have something lined up.
No, actually, tomorrow we're going against the biggest of the trolls. It's me and Jay Tuck and Big Game James versus Lord Brunson.
Y'all going to sweep them up again?
Oh, yeah.
They ain't tired of getting their ass whooped.
Hey,
fam, oh, my God. Fam, I couldn't do any of that shit.
Look, it is. Look, I see their little narrative they rolling out. They running with this, we ain't played nobody because they going off of wholesale stats. But you know me. I know how to get under somebody's skin. It's real simple. I threw that running back one thing out there, and they bit me for hours. All I said was, look, I respect y'all running back number 1. Why are they so mad at me? They could just say, yo, appreciate the love for Miles Sanders, but everybody, if I say I respect your running back 1 and the first thing you think of is Jalen Hurts, that's a you problem.
That's your problem.
That's a you problem. I ain't say his name. You thought.
Damn.
But anyway, if you want to find me on Twitter, Cowboys_fan talk, I'll be waking up bright and early, talking trash for 12 hours until I get bored.
Space, what you got lined up this week, man?
Well, I'm just going to go like Dragon Ball Z style. I'm just going to go in that little containment. I'm just going to keep myself quiet until game day and let the pads do the talking. Just going to talk about a couple other things. Because you know what? I see all these Eagles content creators talking crap. I know that they're going to say, like, Mr. Hassan Reddick is better than Micah Parsons' bitch ass. Shut the fuck up. Anyways, I look, I don't care. They can go on and talk and talk and talk. You can follow me over at Space Cowboy Media on YouTube. Do your due diligence. Subscribe to all these people here. And that's something that I think we could take pride on, is that we keep it honest here. You know, we're not afraid to delve into what exactly is going to happen down here.
Mhm.
And I think that's what's important here, you know, because I'm not going to just say, I can't speak for you guys, but for me, I can't say shit for the sake of saying shit. Like, if I think I think they got a good team, but I'm not going to go out there on Twitter and just pick and choose clips and try to make a narrative out of nothing just so I can get clicks and views. I'm sorry, not sorry. I know some people that do that, but anyways, look, Brunson. Anyways,
Was that for you?
listen, guys, it's all good fun though. You know what? I hope we have a great Sunday. I swear to God, if it's anything like Thursday Night Football, I'm gonna be mad because I'm like, this is probably gonna be game of the year right here. So, guys, it was great kicking it with you guys. So, yeah, again, you can follow me at Space Cowboy Media on Twitter and on YouTube.
All right, and Brandon, last but certainly not the least. Where can people find you?
Well, if you don't know me, I am Brandon. I am one half of Frankly Football. My other guy, my Robin, is Set It Off Chris. Together we make up Frankly Football. You can find us on YouTube at that, of course. On Twitter, and Facebook at Frankly Football. The Twitter handle is at Frankly Football, but the last L is a 1. Go ahead and like, subscribe, follow, all of those things. We believe that coaching matters. That's the main thing.
All right, man. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Make sure if you haven't done it already, make sure you hit that like button. Thank everybody for stopping by. I'll be setting up something later on this week. Hopefully I can get my cousin Charlie on here because he had a lot to say when he got on my channel the last time. So hopefully it's Eagles week and he'll get on here. So appreciate everybody. Thank you. And we out.
Peace.
Peace.